The year is 2001, and the greatest tragedy in American history has just taken place. GM launched the Avalanche. In 2000, a GM designer cracked out of his mind on Mad Croc Energy and gas station boner pills took an idea to the executives at General Motors. So the Silverado is our best-selling pickup, right? Yes? Well, what if it wasn't? Proudly he displays his design, a stubby Silverado wearing a massive plastic diaper. The exec looked repulsed, but curious. This is disgusting. Why would we make this? I got one word for you. Midgate. And the rest is history. Now you might be thinking, why is he doing a video on the Chevy Avalanche of all things? Is someone holding a gun to his head? No, the Avalanche itself is holding a gun to my head. You see, the Avalanche's plastic wasn't just for looks, it was also for storage of moisture. And if you live about here, you might know what it's like to be able to tell how fast you're going by looking at the holes in your floor rather than the speedometer. Such is the fate of this Avalanche, which I have been so graciously given the opportunity to disassemble and part out as I shepherd it to the big junkyard in the sky. But for real, the frame cracked. Twice. After it had already been professionally repaired. So for the past 3 weeks, my life has been nothing but Avalanche, Avalanche parts, and Facebook Marketplace. And I just gotta say, Facebook Marketplace. The barrier to entry should not be zero. People need to be able to pass a test to be able to use it. The Chevy Avalanche. Why did they make this? GM already had the single and quad cab Silverado, and they already had the short and long wheelbase Suburban. So where and why did this fit into GM's lineup? The Avalanche was marketed as a super SUV, an SUV that can change into a truck, or a truck that can change into an SUV, thanks to a partition at the back of the cab that could be removed. And with the back seats folded down, it extended the bed to 8 feet. So you have a single cab full bed pickup for hauling stuff, and a comfortable crew cab for driving around the family, just not at the same time. The partitions themselves were pretty well built. Surprisingly, you don't hear stories of them leaking very much. The Avalanche was the start of GM's very brief experimentation with hybrid vehicles, not in the traditional hybrid sense, but cars that could be two things. In 2004, GM made the Envoy XUV, an extended frame Envoy that had a separate cargo area with a partition and a retractable roof if you wanted to carry tall stuff. The Hummer H2 has this partition as well to make up for its minuscule bed. The infamous Aztec, GM hoped would be used as a camper, having a removable cooler built into the center console, and the package for the tent and air mattress also came with a built-in air compressor. Potentially stretching it, but I would even include the SSR in this category, being a Corvette-powered convertible sport truck with a usable bed. In an era of excess, GM would try just about everything, even if it competed with and hurt the numbers of their other models. Like, in a world where the Silverado exists, why was Chevy selling a heavy-duty Avalanche? Yeah, Chevy sold a 2500 Avalanche with the 8.1-liter V8 and 4L85 transmission, giving it an 18,000-pound tow rating. But if I want that performance, why would I buy an Avalanche? Chevy Avalanche, the official car of blasting Freak on a Leash in the school pickup line so all the other parents know you're the cool dad. How was my regular car reviews impression? I have a weird thought about the Avalanche that I've never shared with anyone before. I feel like it was potentially intended to be a way for Pontiac to enter the truck market. I know that's a stupid thing to say, hear me out. You look at the Aztec, the Vibe, the Montana, all wrapped in huge, ugly plastic body cladding. The Avalanche fits right in. So I've always wondered, why did Chevy embrace this style that didn't look like any of their vehicles before it? I mean, maybe that was the point, but if that's the case, really? This is the direction they were gonna go? There's nothing online that says the Avalanche was intended to be for Pontiac at all. It's just one of those personal headcanons that I have because it just fits right into the ugly duckling lineup. The Avalanche was only on sale for 1 year before GM's president demanded the Avalanche have the option to be sold without the body cladding. Not just because it was ugly, but because the plastic had issues with severe fading that the trucks that were still under warranty could get coated to protect it for longer, but if you were outside of that warranty window, tough luck. And like I said, the plastic just trapped all the water, all the dirt, all the road salt, right up against the paint, just letting it eat away and away until one day you wonder why that piece of plastic is dangling, and you realize there's nothing left underneath. Your Avalanche has turned into an avalanche of rust. You know, like, it's hard because it really isn't a bad looking truck. Like, the body's nice and clean, it rides really nice, it's quiet, it's got a nice sound system. I didn't even touch it and rust is falling off of it, so never mind. Avalanche. Even the name goes against Chevy's naming conventions at the time. Silverado, Tahoe, Malibu, Monte Carlo, Avalanche. Other vehicles in their lineup are named after beautiful, scenic places that invoke an emotion when you hear their name. The Avalanche is named after a destructive disaster that has killed thousands of people. And I can't think of a more fitting name. The Avalanche actually broke another convention of GM at the time by not having a GMC twin, and instead Chevy jumped it straight to Cadillac of all of its brands to make the Escalade EXT. Now honestly, I think the Escalade looks much better than the Avalanche, but it's a confusing move for GM to make. I don't feel like people with Escalade money were looking for a pickup truck, and the sales numbers would reflect that. The first-gen Avalanche sold roughly 300,000 units, while the Escalade only sold about 50,000. Good. That's what GM gets for trying to pass these piles off as luxury trucks. And for some reason, despite filling a middling role between a pickup and an SUV that no one really asked for, hurting the sales of GM's other models and generally being not good looking, it's ugly. It's ugly. It survived the 2008 economic crisis. But sure, fuck Saturn and Pontiac, I guess. Thank God we have the Avalanche. Yeah, I'm an avid Avalanche hater. Everyone needs their automotive hill to die on. What's yours? The Avalanche is a vehicle that wasted time, money, and resources that could have been spent on building something better. The world would be a better place if it was never made, and I bet Honda would have never made the Ridgeline. Thank you, Whistling Diesel. It made our lives worse. That's the big rusty stain the Avalanche left behind for us. Fuck this truck. Alright, before I jump into comment responses, I just wanted to let you guys know and say thanks that I got approved for the YouTube Partner Program, which is incredible. It's always been something I wanted to achieve, and while sure I'm the one making the videos, I actually couldn't have stayed motivated to do it without you guys. The support, the interaction, the conversations that I have with you guys in the comments motivates me to keep making these videos because I know people want to see them. I plan on putting effort into this channel because I want to see how far it can go. So it's a bit tricky with the holidays right now, but please stick around for a more regular upload schedule. And I just wanted to say thank you guys. I really appreciate that. So yeah, on to the comment responses. I have a few of these. On my video on the Taiga 6455, I translated the labels in the interior with Google Lens, and one label didn't make sense to me because it was talking about running the auxiliary heater, and it was supposed to say seconds, but it translated it to degrees Celsius. So Amir Dynamics commented to clear that up, and it makes a lot more sense now, and I appreciate that. On that same video, the Rama 2299 made an interesting observation that I hadn't thought of. When I do my interior and model explores, most trucks have low poly models of their actual real-life engines under the hood, despite there being no way to see them without using the camera mod to clip into the model. He said he thinks that the low poly models may be used to show an accurate outline of the engines when you start the trucks. And I think that's a solid theory and maybe even the reason why they do that. I hadn't thought of it, so that was kind of really cool to put together. If you actually know why they do that, please let us know, but I feel like he's right. On my video on the Pacifics, you guys left a lot of nice comments, and that was really awesome. I really appreciate it. But when I was taking a closer look at the P16, I noticed these little rubber stoppers on the hood that confused me, and several people commented letting me know it's just the rubber pads for the hood to rest on when it's open. I tend to overlook simple things. Remember when I made a whole Reddit post because I was perplexed by something in the Action and it just turned out to be the windshield wiper motor? Good times. Not as many to reply to this time, but that's fitting for a shorter video, I think. I'd like to do these more regularly, perhaps every other video, so add some information that I missed or share your experience with whatever I'm talking about in a video, and there's a good chance I'll feature it in a comment response. But that's all for this one. I wanted to do a bit of a shorter video after the monstrosity that was my Pacific history video, kind of give myself a chance to rest for the holidays. But that's all for now. Till next time.